Hello and welcome to Outlook Video Stories. For the last few months, Whitehead Junior has been among the most talked about brands on social media. Not all of it is positive. What is the truth behind all the criticism? How is the company handling it? We have founder and CEO Karan Bajaj to answer all the queries. Let's hear it from him.
The original thought was when I had my own kids, and my kids are now 6 and 4 years old, but at that time, which was about 2.5 years ago when I started Whitehead Junior, 2 years ago, I had always learned from my own experience. I always thought that the most fundamental education for kids is that they should feel that they are going to be builders and creators for life, because that feeling of that I'm going to build things in this life is very powerful, makes you very confident. And there was some wonderful research I read from NASA, which was that kids peak in creativity at age 6. And now that's where they actually test in the top 95 percentile of creativity. And then every decade after that, their creativity keeps going in half. By the time they're at age 35, they test in the bottom 2 percentile of creativity, which was very surprising for me. And then when I started to read research on early childhood coding, the most important or impactful thing for me was that kids who code early, they get this feeling that, look, everything in this world is an object that's created by someone. And I can also build it, right? Because I can put two things together. When I write a piece of syntax or I put blocks together, an output comes out of it. So that feeling that, look, I can put things together, build things, that very fundamentally shifts your mindset at an early age. And you start to realize that, look, I can build anything in this world that I set out to build. And I think that's the natural destiny of kids. They should build and create. And that's what I thought, that if we were able to introduce coding to kids early, they would have this feeling of being builders and creators early, and that would really impact a generation to come. So that was the idea behind Whitehead Junior. And there were other attempts at coding before that, so in other places in the world, but they were all self-learning, where kids had a coding app. The other innovation in Whitehead Junior was that there was a live teacher, one teacher connected to one student via technology. And that allows the kid to really flourish with their individual potential. So if they are creative in a certain way, then the teacher can help that bring to life. And that was the other innovation here. And that, I think, came from a lot of my personal experiences as well. My father was an army officer. My mother was a housewife, and she was actually very qualified. She was the topper of Delhi University. But then she kept traveling with my father to Leh, Ladakh, then Kashmir, then Assam, like to various places, Sri Lanka. And she could never build her career. So I always thought that there is this huge potential of women in India who are very educated, very qualified, and don't have an active voice in the workforce. And if we have this model where they can actually teach kids one-on-one via technology, they can really make a kid's personal potential flourish. So I think that combination of the very creative curriculum and the live teacher, that led to Whitehead Junior and the subsequent success of it. I think from our part perspective, I would say I'd be very open to say that the company is 2 years old. It builds systems and it keeps making its systems stronger daily, right? That's my kind of motivation as the leader of the company, that we keep making our systems stronger and stronger. The company's like the philosophy behind the company was that kids should be builders, creators. That's what advertising should also reflect. Earlier in 2020, in the first part of 2020, there were some creatives tried, which were all about career or over promising on that. And I think very quickly, I think within an internal review, we had reviewed them and we had taken them out by June, like a lot of these creatives, right? And kept the focus, like I would say, on the creativity. And if you look at the advertising now, that's also completely focused on kids building and creating things. So they were all removed in June. Now, all of the criticism started in August for ads that were done earlier. Not to say that they shouldn't have been done. I'll be truly saying that we should not have done those pieces of creative. But for the most part, I would say 95% of what the company has done has been on this idea of kids' creative potential. And right from the beginning to currently what's happening. And I think only 5% of advertising, etc., early in the way should not have been done. But for the most part, I think we've course corrected, built better systems, internal review systems, external review systems, leaders in marketing, leaders in legal compliance. So as the startup matures, it's built systems so that none of these slips ever happen again. Very, very good question. We start from grade one. And as I said, one of the biggest inspirations was this excellent research around how kids actually peak in creativity around age 5 and 6. That's when their mind is making the most freestanding creative associations. And after that, more and more rule-based thinking enters their lives, where the world starts to teach them that everything is very binary. 4 plus 4 is always equal to 8. It can't be anything else. And the more binary and systems thinking enter, they lose more and more of their creativity, right? By the time they hit age 35, they're in the bottom 2 percentile of creativity. So in a way, these early years are very, very formative. And as I said, the idea of coding in that early age is not that they become future programmers. The idea of coding in that early age is that they realize that they have the power to build and create things. And the earlier that feeling comes, because they're able to, and in early grades, we do block-based coding where they combine blocks together and then suddenly there's an outcome. So in a trial class, for example, there is a 7-year-old who's building a spaceship, right? They're putting building blocks together, they're building a spaceship, and they are simulating that the spaceship can go to a different planet. And that feeling that you can build this is very, very powerful and very confident for the kid. And as a result, I think the impact that we are talking about, we can see that so evidently. There are kids who, our whole course is designed around the idea that you are becoming more and more independent through the course. So in the beginning, the teacher is guiding you more. After that, you come up with more and more of your ideas. So we have excellent examples like the 6-year-old who's built a sign language app for deaf kids, right? Her own brother was handicapped, and she came up with this idea that can deaf people communicate with the sign language app? She created a sign language app. That's a idea that came from her, and she built it and she brought it to life. Now, is that app commercializable or not? I think that's never the point. We never wanted that to happen, right? I think the point is more that a 6-year-old who today feels empowered and confident that she can build something so powerful because she has an idea. By the time she gets older and older, and she's gonna be somebody who always defines herself as somebody who's gonna build things in this world. And I think a generation that starts to feel that way will be a very, very different and powerful generation. And I think that's the idea of teaching early. Yes, so we go for very, very rare combinations, which are people who've had very, very strong technical education, and they've had very strong kid teaching or kid psychology experience. So the leader of the curriculum or the whole learning experience is an IIT Madras computer engineer. And he was a computer engineer in '96. And so just out in his last assignment, he ran a startup where they were building a platform to enable kids to be very creative, right? So he has a programming background plus a creative kids background, and very passionate about this space. We look for that real passion of forming a difference in kids' education. So we go for that rare combination with very strong technical backgrounds and kid teaching experience. But I think that's one part of it. The other part of it is the system that's been built around it. Every time a class is created, it goes through an instructional design review to make sure that the learning outcomes come. Then it goes through a peer review. Then it goes through one test student who tests the class. Then it goes through one teacher who tests the class. Then it's made live. Then just to show you something, the moment a class is made live, then all of this data starts to flow for us, right? So this is Ernst & Young has validated this dashboard, which comes directly from our database. This is in the last 24 hours, there were about 22,576 live classes that happened. And the average rating of a class, which the student gave, was 4.8 out of 5. After every class, we have a rating from the student. Every month, we have a rating from the parent. And about 8,000 teachers gave classes, right? So it's a very large scale operation all over the world right now. And we get this data real time. So we get to know, and it's quite amazing that even with 22,000 live classes happening, the ratings are 4.8 out of 5, because almost every class, the kid is having such a wonderful experience. This is just live, right? I'm really happy. Ma'am likes my greeting card. So this kid built a greeting card, I enjoyed a lot in the ping pong. She built a ping pong game in class, right? And they are, and this feedback is going to us. So if there is any class which has a rating of less than 4, right? So you'll have to find here, but in any class which has a rating of less than 4, we are able to immediately get that data back into our system. Almost immediately, a call goes to the teacher and the student to understand why the class was less, and we ensure that the class is made better, so that every class is rated at both the teaching experience and the content is rated at such a high level by the kids and by the parents. So we basically are able to maintain the quality of the curriculum through very, very strong technical integration, all data flowing into the systems and real-time monitoring of. So this you could never do in the physical world, right? You had 23,000 going on. You couldn't monitor them in a physical classroom, but we are able to monitor all 23,000 classes at a 1 second level. 1 second after the rating is down, there is a call that will go to understand why it happened. And immediately there is a fix deployed in order to make sure that the student never has that experience again. And if there are enough students who are having that experience on a particular class, we make the class better. I just showed you the class experience, right? The kids are rating it so high. The parents are rating it so high. Our renewal rates are among the highest in the industry. We are probably the only company that does anytime refund. So we have no limitations at all. 15 days, 30 days, etc. Nothing at all. Whenever you don't like a class, you can refund the rest of the course back at any point of time. And we are processing the refunds within 1 day, right? We put so much effort that we can process almost 70 to 80% of the refunds within a 1 to 3 day period, because we work directly with the credit card companies, etc., to make it happen faster, because we are so confident about the product experience. Having said that, the teachers themselves, I think the effort that goes into preparing, just to give you a glimpse of it, we have more than 10,000 applicants a day for a teacher role in White Hat Junior, and barely 1% of them will eventually get selected, because after they apply, there is a phone call, then there is a first demo, then there is a second demo, then there is a third demo. So even after going through a very tough process being selected, she is given access to a learning management system, which she has to complete all the courses in the learning management system that is pertinent for her level, whether that's a programming class, coding must-knows, and then she has to clear each of the classes, and for every class that is there on the platform, she goes through a video about the class. Then after and this is for example, professional course. This is for a webinar on React Native. She has to go through the video about the class, and after that she has to answer variations of the code, not only the code in the class, but different variations of the code. So after all of this, she is certified for a particular class, and only then can the class be taught. And on top of that, as I said, this rating keeps flowing back, so we know immediately if there is any class in which the teacher has not performed well, in which case we again speak to the teacher and the student to understand why. So I think the combination of the technology rigor in training, the data that keeps flowing back, allows, I would say, very, very high teacher quality in every class that the kid is exposed to. And I think that's kind of the power of what technology can do in education, which is give us the tools to be able to train, monitor, improve on a real-time basis. And that's deployed here. So I think much of the criticism I feel is out of the biases of like a resistance to the new, to the change, and I guess in some form or the other, not trusting that that such a qualified base of women do exist in India. And I think that's the power of this model here. 70% of them come from a technical or a coding background. Anybody who teaches grade 4th plus is from a strong technical background. Grade 1 to 3 is block-based coding. We look for math, science, logic backgrounds. And the qualification is done with that. So they have excellent backgrounds. They are very engaging with kids. And the technology tools power them to be better and better in their jobs every day. We have an entire team of people who are just devoted to processing the refund of the customer in the shortest time possible, working with credit card companies, working with any payment mechanism that the customer has used in order to help them get the refund faster. Not just refund, but help them get it faster. And the data is indicating that about 78% of refunds are processed within 3 days. And the remaining 22% are processed as fast as we can, depending on the EMI provider or the the payment system provider. But I think the ethics of the company around refunds have been a part of the DNA of the company from the first day it was started, and we've maintained that through just so much scaling. Also, we always maintained that. From a pricing perspective, I would actually say that Whitehead Junior is very, very affordable, because if you think of a one-on-one tuition that you could have in the physical world, so you go somewhere and you have a teacher who's one-on-one, the pricing of that would be almost double of a Whitehead Junior class, which is a one-on-one class. So we end up at a pricing of about 500, 600 rupees a class in India. That would mirror a group tuition in the physical kind of setting, right? So in just a one-on-one personal tuition, we are able to do that because of the power of technology, that the teacher is connected with the student, the best teacher is connected to the student from the comfort of their home, and that allows a one-on-one class to happen. So I would say the pricing is very affordable if you compare it to the one-on-one personalized attention. See, if I were to mathematicalize it, I would say right now there are 11,000 teachers. What would make me very happy is that in the next 3 years, we've been able to create 100,000 women teaching jobs from India, leverage the power of this wonderful demographic advantage that India has, and get 100,000 women back into the workforce, teaching kids from all over the world in subjects that are as diverse as coding, maths, English, through this very powerful one-on-one small group model. Because the holy grail or the promise of EdTech was that every kid has an individual potential, an individual learning journey, an individual outcome, because they are special, they're unique. And we made it happen through connecting one teacher to one student who can meet the student where they are and help them flourish. And I want, like I would say, 1 in 3 kids in the world to be touched by that. And only an Indian company could have done that because of the teaching, the advantage of the teachers, the demographic advantage of teachers. And I would love for that dream to come to life, that we're able to create 100,000 teaching jobs in India and touch 1 in 3 kids all over the world through the live teaching methodology.
The company has responded to criticism with introspection and lots of corrective actions. They certainly have their heart at the right place. The company has a chance to become a leading global player, riding on collective talent of qualified Indian women teacher force and a loyal student base. Whether that happens or not, time will tell. Thank you. See you next time.